Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Today we're going to talk about Eternal Masters, specifically whether or not Eternal Masters is a true success, whether or not it accomplished the goals it was set out to accomplish. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you enjoy videos like this and want more of them in the future, be sure to hit that like button. Helps out a lot. Let's begin with the bad. The bad tends to be most obvious, so it's a good starting point. This won't take too long. The absolute biggest problem with Eternal Masters is the accessibility. This is borderline on total blunder status. The set is impossible to get your hands on. Even if you can locate a box of it, the price is way out of most players' price range, with many areas nearing $300 per 24 sealed packs. This number obviously varies, but there are horror stories, especially internationally, of stores charging upwards of $400 for boxes of the set. It's insanity. Anyways, let's say you want a draft. Most stores' allotment weren't nearly high enough to run more than a week's worth of drafts, even with the price being stupidly high per draft. Even with players paying anywhere from $30 to $40 to $60 to draft, stores still ran out of product. The most popular comment on our draft guide video that released only 2 days after the set released was that it was too late because stores already ran out of product and they weren't getting any more. Regardless of how good or bad the set is, regardless of what's in it, the quality of product, anything like that, this is a serious problem. We've had limited print run products before, but not like this, not this crazy. One of the biggest downsides to me, failure to stock appropriately. Honestly, that's going to do it for the big negatives. Accessibility and price point are the only really big issues. We've been here before, we've seen this before, yeah. Eternal Masters has the same problem the Modern Masters set originally had, but to a way worse degree. High price, low accessibility. Let's talk about the set itself now. Despite the crap availability and terrible price point, the set knocked it out of the park in a lot of respects. We'll start at the top and move downwards. On a macro level, Eternal Masters did an amazing job of advertising Eternal formats to newer players. As preview cards came out, players who would have never cared about Vintage, Legacy, Commander, or Cube before began asking questions. Where do you use World Gorger Dragon? What makes Sensei's Dividing Top so good? Mana Crypt is crazy, how is that even a card? You know, stuff like that. Not only was there a boom in interest in these older/alternative formats, there was a huge increase in interest in older cards a lot of players had never seen before. I mentioned it just now, but Mana Crypt is a perfect example. A ton of players have never seen this card. Same with Natural Order, Sinkhole, Sneak Attack, Gamble. These are all cards that have a lot more eyes on them now than ever before. That'll lead to increased play in Legacy, Commander, Cube, even Casual. It's a great way to give new players a history lesson, so to speak. It's just a cool thing to think about. Tied to my previous thought, Eternal Masters did an excellent job of bringing these old cards with crap print runs into the 21st century with updated art, updated text boxes, updated card frames, the works. Caracas had one of the crappiest print runs known to man. While it is mythic in a small set, let's be honest, it's going to boost the availability of the card by leaps and bounds. And it's using the Judge promo artwork. That's great stuff. The same could be said for Mana Crypt, never printed in a real set. Wasteland, only various promos and Tempest. Coming back with gorgeous artwork. Maze of Ith, only one real set in promo versions. You get my point. One of the most important and awesome things that Eternal Masters did that no other set could ever do was print so many cards that didn't have foil versions. Look at a card like Hydroblast or Pyroblast. Printed in Ice Age and 5th edition, then never again. Both played in Eternal formats. Well, look at them now. Updated text boxes, beautiful new artwork, and they can be foil for the first time ever. So many cards have been given that opportunity. Charlotte's Agent, Baleful Strix, Toxic Deluge, Gamble. Truly no other set could pull something like this off. It's just a nice bonus for older players. They can finally get some of their favorite Eternal staples in foil. It's a cool little thing if you ask me. One last thing to note about the update of old cards. Let's look at Hydroblast again. This card looks so much better with an updated text box. This is true for other cards as well. With these updated layouts, it makes it way easier for newer players to read the cards, understand them, and then use them in constructed play. It makes older formats slightly more accessible when a new player doesn't have to read 12,000-year-old text. Also, they really haven't found a way to make this easier to read. Just, God. Where Modern Masters succeeded generally well and Modern Masters 2015 failed miserably, Eternal Masters friggin' blows it out of the water. The uncommon slot in this set is superb, near perfection, absolutely fantastic. Easily the best uncommons in any limited print run set ever. Cabal Therapy, Chain Lightning, Wall of Omens, Swords to Plowshares. I could make groups of 4 all day. Price of Progress, Rancor, Young Pyromancer, Ashnod's Altar. Want me to stop? Too bad. Days, Bloodbraid Elf, Mishra's Factory, Hymn to Turok. See what I mean? I could go on forever. There are 20 uncommons worth $1 or more. 20! 20, that's crazy! Best part, so many of them are useful in constructed formats. Not just Vintage and Legacy, but Commander and Cube as well. Ashnod's Altar is a great example. Animate Dead, Worn Power Stone, Harmonize. I cannot emphasize enough how fantastic the uncommon slot in this set is. It's flawless. Absolutely wonderful. Next up, the limited environment. If you've played the set already, then you know what I mean. We're talking about dynamic, exciting, synergistic strategies that come together relatively easily and do really cool stuff. Elves are always fun to play. There's something akin to a storm-type flashback strategy. There's something for everyone. The best part, this limited environment gives newer players the chance to really experience how powerful some of these older cards are. Look at Sensei's Divining Top. It's reasonable to think that a lot of players haven't had the chance to play with that yet. Imagine playing Top again for the first time. It's like holding Excalibur. There's so much power. The limited environment is a great way for players to really understand how stupidly strong some of these cards really are. Let's talk numbers. As with any set like this that comes out, we need to talk impact on current prices. Now, Eternal Masters has done something truly crazy. Look back to Modern Masters. When reprints were announced, prices fell across the board. It may have been temporary, but they did fall. This is technically sort of happening with Eternal Masters, but not really. Let me give you an example. Mana Crypt. New Crypt will cost you around $85 right now. Original Mana Crypt used to cost $150 and now costs around $140. Still significantly higher than the new Crypt. Now let's look at Force of Will. New Force of Will is going to run you $90. Old Force of Will, $75. You see what happened there? The new version of Force is worth more than the old one. Undoubtedly because Therese Nielsen is a monster and somehow managed to crush her own artwork, but still ridiculous. Looking at other examples, new Caracas is around $70, but old Caracas is still $130. New Wasteland is $45, old Wasteland is $55. If this were Modern Masters, you'd see a very similar price between different versions because the cards were essentially the same. But in this case, the cards look nothing alike. They're the same, but they're not. So here's the thing. Eternal Masters is making cards more affordable, but it's only making Eternal Masters versions of those cards more affordable. A few months ago, the only way to get a Mana Crypt was to spend $150. Now you can spend almost half that and get a Mana Crypt, just not the book promo version. It's honestly fascinating. So when you ask the question, did Eternal Masters make Eternal Staples more affordable? The answer is technically yes, they did. Your Vampiric Tutors, Natural Orders, Sneak Attacks, Enlightened Tutors, all of those cards are cheaper than they were a few months ago, but only the newer versions are fully embracing that cheapness. Now this would be a problem if the internet didn't exist, but it does. So if you need some of these Eternal Staples, buy singles online. That's who these sets are for. Those of you who need singles and can't afford to buy boxes. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but let the rich people open the boxes. Let them flood the market with the new cards. Use your limited funds to buy what you need as cheaply as you can. That's who the set really benefits, singles hunters. Instead of being upset about the price of a box, buy what you need instead of a box. Win-win. When we talk about a set's success, we have to figure out how we want to define success before we make a judgment. The problem with Eternal Masters is that success is subjective here. With that in mind, I'm going to tell you if the set was a success from multiple perspectives. Alright, here we go. Store owners. Yes, successful in that we got to make a decent amount of money on it. Also unsuccessful because we didn't get enough to run more than 2 drafts a decade. Commander players. Successful. We have a ton of foil cards we never had before, as well as a crapload of Commander staples that are now way cheaper than they were a few months ago. Maelstrom Wanderer looking good. Standard players. I didn't buy this set. Vintage/Legacy players. Foil Hydroblast and Pyroblast. Good format, will take it. Limited players. Success because the draft format is sweet. Unsuccessful because I only got to draft it once. Finally, box openers. This set sucks. It costs $1 million and I opened 9 World Gorger Dragons. You suck, Watsy. Okay, I think I got most of the groups. Oh wait, one more. Modern players. No Goyf? Okay, now we're good. All joking aside, Eternal Masters is a set that did a lot of things right most players didn't notice. It brought older cards to newer players, it brought new foils and new artwork to a player base that appreciates both. It provided a sweet limited environment and did cheapen some important Eternal staples with crap print runs. Of course, it was also the worst print run I've ever seen, and it outpriced most casual players so they couldn't enjoy the draft experience at all. At the end of the day, it really comes down to what you value, what you see as success. Personally, I think the set was a success, but it's going to have a giant asterisk next to its name forever solely due to the terrible accessibility. Anywho, let me know what you think about Eternal Masters. Do you think the set is a success? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me why. I need to know how you feel. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. If you haven't realized it already, Eternal Masters did actually make cards cheaper for now, so take advantage. How about the Manosaurus Preview Card Special? Our awesome Commander Preview Regal Force is only $4 each right now. That's all, just $4. Pretty sweet since it used to be over $10. How about Baleful Strix, our other amazing preview card? Also, only $4. Get both of our preview cards for $8. That's stupid value. Click the links, help the channel. Win-win.